Nostril, check. Yeah.
Number 1, Tom 10 here, aka Tomas Bobulevičius, or Tomas Bobulevičius, aka Tom 10. I'm not even sure which is which after one. But we are at stage 2 of Algarve Bike Challenge 2023, and if you haven't seen highlights from stage 1, I would strongly encourage you to watch them, simply because that way you will know how we finally end up at 151st position in open men category. So it's open category, but keep in mind that there's general classification where we ended up somewhere in the middle. And as usual, in the mass starts, there are shouting like, "Oh! Stop, stop, stop." So whenever the pathway becomes narrower, everyone's starting to shout. Maybe they could just brake a bit earlier and it won't be required, but it just always happens that way. Just like in stage 1, stage 2 started in a similar way, where we had a bit of a tarmac road and then we went into the double track, which is up into the mountain. I noticed that Nicky is behind and he kind of sits on someone else's wheel, so I just let off a throttle a bit in order for him to drive together towards me with them. But he left them. Actually, they left him.
Nicky, you there? Yep.
And then funny thing happened that I kind of looked through my shoulder and expected that behind there is Nicky, where in reality you can see that Nicky was somewhere elsewhere. So there was a guy with similar looking apparel, and I mistakenly thought it's Nicky. So I kind of thought that he is around, and I'm continuing going at our pace. The gravel roads here requires still a bit of technique, simply because they are loose, and if you go too fast and don't take care of yourself, you can go straight off that edge, and you don't want to do that. But you can see that the scenery, when you have a chance to look at it, is really beautiful. I got myself a coffee. If you want to, you can get as well. You can see that my logos are all over the places, but simply because I just love what I do. I noticed that in front the queue is building for unknown reason, so I just stopped and waited, and apparently I figured out that that guy behind was not Nicky, so I waited for a bit longer just to make sure that finally we meet up. So Nicky is arriving and we're continuing. Basically, it's still not exactly sure why there was such a long queue, but maybe someone just fell in those rocks, or they were just afraid to go through them. But it wasn't that bad. Just a bit technical, like in kind of everything what's in Algarve Bike Challenge. When you have two cameras and you go in pair, it's very nice to make those switch. Well, basically because I'm familiar with videos, I just love that extra ability to change the camera and do the editing the way I want to.
How long you were waiting? 10 minutes?
No. There was a queue in that place. I don't know, maybe someone was afraid to go through that rock area, but that way I decided like I better wait. So it's like 2 minutes or so. But as I said, I mixed you up with our guy.
So Nicky went in front because on downhills he was just flying, and I tried to keep up with him, but it wasn't that easy. You can see that he is riding like crazy on those loose rocks. Maybe stones, it would be a better description, but I almost went off the pathway here. And sorry for that guy, who probably I blocked a bit, but it was an expected corner for me. The patience is the thing which you can see as sometimes lack, but at the same time, I just love climbing. What can I do? Differently than on stage 1, there was a water point first, so before the food point there was area to fill your bottles, and I actually added full 2 bottles of water, even though upcoming there's going to be a food station in like 10 kilometers, but who cares? It's nice to have water, because I went on the race without a backpack, differently than Nikki, who was riding both days the backpack. So you can see the speed differences here. Maybe I braked a bit here as well, but despite the fact Nikki went on the downhill more than 10 kilometers per hour faster, I thought that maybe it's because of our weight differences, maybe because I braked a bit, and also maybe because Nikki was with 2.4 tires, while I chosen 2.2 to the rear, so it was a bit slippery in some places, but nothing you can't control. Anyways, 2.4 on such terrain is really nice to have. But actually I don't like maxes because they are very heavy. Like it would be too much water for me, I took another bottle.
Leave something for other people. You cannot take all the pasta than that. I know you like it, but
Open your bag.
Take a look at this funny situation. Finally, it was not me who was asking for water, because usually it's me who does that. Yet the funny thing is that the food point was like 10 minutes before this moment, and there's also a water point, so I don't know what this guy was thinking, but probably he noticed that I'm carrying too much water and he just helped me. Thanks for that. I'm not sure who did this trick, but you will see that it was a nice visualization. What can happen to you if you go full speed and don't take care of yourself in those single tracks. I was a bit afraid to hit my handlebars in this section, but somehow I managed through it. It's good that in front you can see someone who already made it, so that means it's possible. But even though in those single tracks I felt a bit more comfy than the guys in front, I didn't overtake them because there was not place to do so, and that was a donkey, I guess. It was a donkey. I didn't touch them, but the guys did. Posing for a camera is just like yet another thing which I normally do when I go racing. It just adds that extra factor for the pictures, for yourself, and for a photographer as well. Imagine that you are sitting there in the woods for a whole day, capturing everyone, and if they suffer on the climb and do nothing, apart from the fact that they're thinking how to survive that climb. So if you push your thoughts to a different topic, it becomes easier. So I recommend you to do so as well. And finally I managed to overtake those guys. And this was the most technical part of stage 2. You don't see that through the camera, but you had to be very precautious with your pedal strokes, because at any given time you can hit the rock on the side and you would go into the ditch towards the left. So it's tricky and you have to be careful. Here I noticed in front that the guys on the left went very deep into the water, so I braked and made a different turn, where Nicky went a different way because he didn't saw where I went. And you can see that we have a problem, Houston. One thing I probably haven't mentioned in stage 1 is that if you cross the checkpoint of the race, the bigger gap in 2 minutes than your teammate, you get penalized. Well, I'm not sure whether they really do it, but you don't want to take a risk. Clean some lens, glasses, and all that stuff. And finally, Nicky came with bad news.
Camera? Or what?
I have no gear. You want to try my bike?
Fuck's sake.
No gear. I charged it yesterday night and today no gear. Where's my speed?
Maybe it was like...
If you want, maybe you can jump to the technical zones, ask if they have charger or battery. Because we have battery bank. If they give you the charger, until... Huh? If they give you the charger, I can charge it until there. In front, I don't know, you're asking me some quite technical shit, I don't know. It is what it is.
Or what if we...
You cannot do nothing about it.
No? I just thought that maybe increasing the gear up to the...
Then I cannot find.
But still better.
No, because I will walk the climb, then it will be longer. Maybe they have a technical feeds on the battery. My friend, come inside my ass, man.
So you would give me this one, or how it works?
No. You need to go there and ask if they have the batteries or if they have charger, because if I open the port and I pass the water, the delay is dead.
So we haven't made a decision just yet, because in front there was a single track going down, and probably we were both thinking what should we do going here, because Nicky could ride at the most at 15 km/h or so, because he's stuck on third biggest cog.
At which kilometer we are now?
You are asking so many technical questions, so I'm trying to... 42.
On 15th kilometer there is a food point. Is there a possibility that it's not connected? Like, I'm having a hard time deciding what to do here.
No, drive, no problem, I will finish.
One way or another we will be disqualified.
Why?
Unless you will finish, yeah. I thought that you are going to cut.
I don't know. Send me the message anyway.
Okay.
So you heard what we agreed, and I went full speed ahead. Actually, I don't even know why I went full speed, but probably it was like feeling that it will change something, even though actually it didn't. But at least I could go full throttle for a while, and of course maybe if there's no spare battery in the service point, I could just try to figure out our solution until Nicky comes. By the way, there was very nice addition by organizers, because I believe that drummer is always there on the stages. Going full gas, I realized that I should take some gel. And after I did it, I almost went over the bars here, because there was a ditch which I noticed only at the last moment. So imagine you're going 30 km down and there's a hole which could went you over the bars. So in the meantime, Nicky was crawling on his feet on very steep uphill. This tunnel is mysterious one, simply because even though in the end you can see the light, you don't feel very comfy when the wind is going through your side. And whenever I met our guys, I just overtook them however I was able to do it. And probably they were thinking where the hell that guys came from. But of course I couldn't last whole race going in that 400 watts mode. You can see that on that lap my average was almost 100 watts more.
Hello guys, any chance you have AXS battery, spare battery?
Yes, we do have 500 euros. It's cheap.
That's a good one.
Where do you have your bike?
My friend is coming, so
okay.
So eventually it turned out to be a lot easier than we thought. The guys had a spare battery, and what we had to do is to just make sure that Nicky comes, pull sync in this way on the downhill, and make a swap, and we continue going.
Go, go, go! They have charger or the battery?
battery. You just give yours, and in the finish you will swap it again. The battery guy.
No, I'm trying to fix something with them that you don't understand. I'll just go eat something. No, you're fucked.
Fuck me. I was rushing here to figure out where we have.
If you were a good guy, you would take the battery, go back.
And they would charge me 500 and ask for credit card. Well, take a look. And the funny thing is that before the race, he said to me, Sram, yes, Shimano, fuck no, change that shit. And I'm waiting up to the checkpoint for him, and he's like, I don't have gear. Well done. Good job. I charged them yesterday. Yeah, you did. Was that in the bed after stage 1 probably?
Thought he did. Position that it's
Always.
You have the oil?
Maybe you want full maintenance? We can do it. We can wait, we have
Fucking push you off the cliff.
First you have to catch me, then you can do it. Let's go.
You know, fat guys go always faster on the downhill.
On the downhill. We'll talk about climbs. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you.
So it's nice that even in such situation where kind of situation was shitty in a sense, we found a good time to make some laughs. And of course, thanks a lot for Bike Soul for saving our race, because without that, probably it would have taken us those 20 kilometers or so for 3 hours, because on the climbs there were quite steep ones remaining, especially in technical areas, so Nicky would have to push the bike while me wait for him or something. So in a sense the race was saved because we continued having fun. And what I forgot to mention is that this area was comp challenge, where we can separate between team members and you can just go full gas. So even though I missed the starting point of this challenge, at some point I realized that, well, probably it's here because it had to start somewhat at 51st kilometer. So I kind of pushed a bit and haven't looked over the shoulder towards Nicky for a while. I noticed that in front there is a photographer, so I made a jump. And whenever we meet someone in single track, it's tricky to make an overtake. And then you can see that in front there are bushes, while on the left it's empty space. You expect that our participant just move tiny bits, 10 centimeters toward the left to allow you space, but it's not always happen. Even in 200s or so position, so it's kind of funny. Funny in both ways, is that me overtaking them, like it would change something, but I'm just having fun, and kind of they're just scrolling at their own speed, and that's fine. But particularly that guy didn't want to allow you to have fun. And then another battery thing happened. Basically, I kind of forgot to charge the power bank fully, so I knew that it might not last. It potentially could have lasted, but because we had stoppages and all that stuff, I didn't last it. And now we only have view from the Nicky's camera, but it's not for long. Simply because in Nicky's camera the SD card was 128 gigs, and it was not enough to capture the whole race distance for this day. And in my GoPro it was 256 gigabytes. So because I was waiting for him for a while here on this climb, I just said, stop if you have battery left, and I took battery away. So, sorry Nicky, but it's just because otherwise we won't have captured full race.
Oh, nice. It should last, because it's like 9 kilometers left.
So we kind of switched the batteries. I added mine, which is already went out to his, but apparently his power bank was also not fully charged, so it's the day of batteries, I would say. But we didn't ask Bike Silver whether they have power bank, because they probably didn't have, or maybe. Anyways, it was irrelevant because there were only 10 kilometers left or so, but while we've been changing the batteries, it took 2 minutes or so. And I waited for Nicky for 5 minutes or so, so it's a gap. The guy in front just cheered and said, go, 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 and I said,
I still can do it.
and put 1,300 watts. Actually, in that place, someone was grilling the chicken at that time, and it was very delicious smelling.
Are you busted or not yet?
So Nicky said that he's almost busted. That means He's pushing significantly.
Just sit on the wheel, I won't push.
Yeah, but if you're going to push.
Yeah, all good. I will keep it constant.
So here the train was from 6 people or so, but once we hit this gravel road, we managed to get lost a few of them. And you can see that only a few kilometers are remaining. What's remaining on the course, you can see a top bar on the right. So it's like 2 numbers separated by slash, where one is distance remaining and other full distance of the stage. Everyone's cheering because they know that it's very close to the finish of this stage race, but actually this was a very tricky section. At the end of the day, when you are kind of tired, you can see that I'm going 180 BPM because I just wanted to catch those guys. And I knew what's upcoming because I arrived to Tavira a bit earlier, and around the city I checked a few places and this was one of it. So we're going at the river bank and it's very close to the finish. Going through the park. I hit palms with a marshal on the side, so it was a funny one. And also we allowed those guys which I overtook on the climb to go in front because I was waiting. And we are in beautiful Tavira streets. Actually, it was my first time in Tavira. I was excited by the city and all those narrow streets, cobblestones and white buildings. So in general, it was perfect in all sense. Finally, we managed to cross our hands going through the finish section, and we did it.
Where's the kiss to me?
So Nikki didn't give me a kiss, but we did a great job. And here is Neringa, my fiance. Here is the finisher's badge. So we did it. Because we had some technical issues on the stage 3, we finished among men in 186th position, so it was not too good. Our final position was 166 among men, between 200 something. We finished Algarve Bike Challenge of 2023 at 320th position among almost 600 teams. Well, it's not a result which you would brag someone about, but at the same time keep in mind that Algarve Bike Challenge is about a challenge. So our challenge here was to participate in a race, stage race, for 2 completely unknown people for 3 days, have some fun, enjoy the scenery, enjoy the weather, and just prepare for upcoming season. So this challenge was completed in a full and even a tiny bit more. Is it the last video about Algarve Bike Challenge? Well, I would love to say that it's yes, but it's actually no. There are at least 2 more videos coming about Algarve Bike Challenge 2023, and you can find them here.